All right, so we're going to be talking about no-shows, cancellations, and missed appointments. These aren't just problems that happen when the patient decides to cancel, but these are things that we can start working on when they first start coming to us. So it really truly starts as we're building that relationship with the patient. Those first couple interactions with the patient where we're really trying to figure out and really trying to convince the patient that this is a commitment. It's not just physical therapy or occupational therapy or fitness. This is a commitment that we need from you. So this happens, in those first couple of emails that get sent out where we really start laying the foundation of what TheraFit is, what our program is, what it's all about. And then it continues. It never stops. We are constantly, showing the benefits, showing the value. We're constantly convincing the patient that this is something that you need to commit to, and it's something that you need to be doing to reach your milestones, to reach your goals. So when we talk about initially bringing in the patient to the clinic, on that initial eval, when we're determining the frequency of visits, one thing that needs to happen is that therapist needs to explain to the patient that this is a competitive program. And in order to reach the goals that we discussed, I'm going to need to see you 2 times a week. And that doesn't mean that it'll be 2 times some weeks, 2 times, 1 time another week, but it's 2 times every single week. And we have a cancellation policy at our clinics that allows, we treat people that have neurological conditions. So when we first tried to develop a policy to make sure that we could control the cancellations, at this current time, we have a 12% cancellation rate, which is something that we're really working on here because it's overall, that's a really high cancellation rate. Most clinics try to be somewhere under 8. So we really have quite a high, so that means for every 10 people scheduled, one's, canceling, So we really have a high cancellation rate. So we really try to focus on trying to get that down. And one of the things that I think is most important is on that initial eval, when we're really talking about it, we're talking about the frequency, the importance. And then every appointment after that, we're saying, hey, Jane, look, you've come from here to here. And if you want to get to your goal, which we're about 40% there, I really need to see you back next week. You come prepared, ready to work, and we'll hit that goal, Now, just encouraging Jane and showing her the progress is going to help her be committed. So if we're just constantly, if we're not looking at this as a big deal, then Jane's not going to look at it as a big deal. If we're lenient on whether or not she shows, then Jane's going to be lenient on whether or not she shows. So it really is important that from initial eval and thereafter, we're really showing her the importance of being here and being committed. So when it starts at initial eval, we take Jane aside and we say, hey, look, I really think you'd benefit from 2 times a week. That means that then if you need to cancel, what we need to do is reschedule that appointment to later in the week, and then you won't get the cancellation fee of $50, and you'll also be able to get in for your 2 appointments a week. Now, this is incredibly important, not just for Jane's progress, but also we treat people far past the therapy cap. We treat people and try to get more visits past what their insurance will permit. So it's important that if we say, and a doctor agrees to it, that this patient needs to be coming 2 times a week, that they're here 2 times a week. They're not just coming, sporadically when they feel like it. That plan of care is a medical document. It's saying this is medically necessary for her to come 2 times a week, and Jane has agreed to it. And then all of a sudden, Jane's only showing up, instead of 8 visits a month, she's only getting 6 visits a month. How's that proving medical necessity there? So another thing that we're bringing up all the time is, hey, Jane, you did great. You got here twice last week. Out of all the hours in a week, we have 2 hours to make a difference in your life. So not only do you need to be doing, showing up here and getting it when you come here, but you also need to be doing your home exercise program and getting it at home too, because we only have 2 hours a week to make a difference in your life. And that's not enough time. If we could be living with our patients, heaven forbid, but that would make a difference in someone's life. We make a huge difference in people's lives in 2 hours a week. Imagine what they would be doing if they're committed to their home exercise program. So it really does start at the beginning when that patient calls in and the front desk gets on the phone, we have scripts that we can use to help that patient realize that, I might be feeling a little bit sick today, but I need to make this commitment because I committed to it last week. It's exactly what it is. They committed to making an appointment with us. They got to keep it. If they can't keep it because they're sick or something, we understand. Let's reschedule that appointment. Let's get you in here. I don't care about the $50 fee. I care about getting them in here to the clinic to get the treatment that they need, to see the progress that they need, to make sure that we're doing our due justice with insurance companies to keep everything the way that they want it, which if that record says 2 times a week, and in review they're looking at it and they're saying, how is this medically necessary? The patient is supposed to be here 8 times a month and they were only here 5. Why is that medically necessary? They're going to say it's not. So if we're getting those cancellations and then getting missed appointments on top of that, it's really time to start thinking about pulling that patient down to 1 time a week, or possibly every other week, or possibly discharging. So not everybody can make the commitment that's necessary to be in our program, and we need to do our due justice in watching out for our therapist and our patients at the same time, and making sure that the ones that are committed are in the facility and the ones that aren't. So that's our take on the cancellation policy. You'll find below the cancellation policy the missed notes or missed appointments policy, as well as some of the scripts, so you guys could take a look over that. And if you have any questions, reach out to your supervisor.